Welcome to the DevExpress Learn Now series, a set of quick tutorials to help you get started using our controls. In this video, I'll show you the basics of our expression editor. I'll create an unbound column and use the editor to specify the column value both at design and runtime. So let's get started. I already have a grid that's bound to the order details table of the sample Northwind database, and I've added a button that I'll use to invoke the expression editor at runtime. I need to create my unbound column, so I'll click Run Designer and switch to the Columns page. Click Add to create a new column that will be used to display the total value of each order, including discounts. I'll name it accordingly and give it a caption. Since the column will contain a dollar amount, I'll expand Display Format and set its Format Type property to Custom. Now I can specify a custom format string for currency values here in the Format String section. I also need to make sure and set my Unbound Type property to decimal. The unbound expression property can be used to create an expression to evaluate values for the current column. Click on the ellipsis to bring up our expression editor. Here you can see our setup for the editor. On top is a preview box, which shows the expression you're editing. In the middle are a set of commonly used arithmetic and comparison operators. In the functions list, you can use any of the available mathematical functions. Operators contains a complete list of all of the supported operators. The constants list includes standard constants, such as the Boolean values of true and false. And finally, the fields list, which shows the list of available database fields. You can use any of the available fields to create a formula and evaluate a new value for the unbound column. For this demo, I'll create a sample expression to calculate the total price of an order. I select the unit price and multiply it by the quantity sold. I'll then multiply that by 1 minus the discount applied to the order. Click OK to apply the expression and return to the property editor, and then close that to return to Visual Studio. The unbound column is created and displaying the correct format. Now let's check this out at runtime. You can see that the unbound column contains values based on the expression I just created. We can also allow end users to bring up the expression editor to make edits if needed. There's two ways this can be done. First, I'll take a look at how to use code to manually display the editor for a specific column. I'll use the button I created to invoke the editor. I'll give it a more meaningful caption and then double-click on it to create a handler for its click event. Here I'll call the Show Unbound Expression method of the grid view and pass on the total column as a parameter. When the button is clicked, it will invoke the editor for the specified column, which in our case is the total column. Let's run the application now and test the expression editor. I click on the button below and our editor appears. You'll see all of the features are available at runtime as well. Our formula appears in the preview window. Pay attention to our totals column as I make some adjustments to the formula. When I click OK, the values immediately change accordingly. I'll open the editor again and bring back our original formula. When I click OK, the column is reflected accordingly. I'll go back to Visual Studio. It's also possible to invoke the expression editor for a column via an entry in the context menu of the column header. To do this, I run the designer and switch to the Columns page. Select the Unbound column and switch its Show Unbound Expression menu property to True. And that's it. I'll close the designer and run the application one more time. Now end users can right-click on the total column and choose the expression editor as an option. Note that this only works on our Unbound column. If users were to right-click any other column, the expression editor will not appear. Thanks for watching. Let's see what develops.